Now back to the #1 Truthfighter in Boston, the Warren Ballentine Show, only on NewsTalk, 1090 AM, WILD Boston, where information is power.
You should have heard me when the Federal Banking Commission called me, told me, my money was gone.
Coast to coast and around the world.
It has nothing to do with race. It shouldn't be a divide of race in this matter. It's about justice.
I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
When you have a philosophy or a gospel, I don't care whether it's a religious gospel, a political gospel, an economic gospel, or a social gospel. If it's not going to do something for you and me right here, right now, to hell with that gospel.
877-373-9766. 877-373-9766. And chat right now. Log on to thetruthfighters.com.
All right, Truth Fighters, we're remembering Dr. King as we celebrate his birthday today. 877-373-9766, number to dial, 877-373-9766. You know what, maybe I'll do something with Dick Gregory and Paul Mooney, maybe 2 hours with Dick and Paul. That might be too much, though. That may be too much. Between the three of us, that may be too much. You got some craziness going on with the three of us. I don't know. Gotta think about that one. Even though I love them both. Both of the brothers are people that we all should be supporting, reading their books, listening to what they have to say. Let's go to Albert in St. Louis, line 1. Hey, Albert, thank you for holding.
Hey, this is my first time calling, my first time listening. A buddy told me about you out of Atlanta, and I'm telling you, he's dead on. And I can tell you, Paul Mooney, and Dick Gregory together, you might be crazy, but you're telling the truth, and that's what's important right there. That
is what's important. The truth is the one thing that we have to always try to get to.
And that's the key why on all Martin Luther King days, or anytime somebody asks me about Martin Luther King, I talk about everything but his I Have a Dream speech.
Yep, me too. When we were preparing for the show, when I came in this morning, my producers always give me different things in the morning that they think that may be relevant to the show I want to talk about. And everybody had this I Had a Dream stuff. I said, man, I'm not touching that. I don't want to talk about I Have a Dream.
That's right.
Because his dream is a nightmare. Is a nightmare. I don't want to talk about I Had a Dream right now.
That brother was no sleepwalker. You don't kill somebody walking around with a dream. You kill somebody because they're doing something. And that's right. That's what the deal is on that. And that's what I tell everybody. One of the points you talked about how hosts are being shut down and our voices are being killed. Here in St. Louis, there was a sister just like you who just happened to be born on Martin Luther King's birthday. They shut her station down when she started telling the kind of truths that you telling here. So it's important that we support you to keep you on the air, because if we don't have you, we have no chance of educating our kids. You got to have some foundation to do that, and I think this is one of the things that the legacy should be. We pass it along. See, I had a chance to march in some of the 60s. I had a chance to sit in during the 60s. So when I hear some of the stories that they now sanitize, I can stand up and say, excuse me, let me tell you how it was right in the middle of the storm.
Amen. And we need that, because that's what they're doing. They're sanitizing it, and they're rewriting the history. Exactly. They're rewriting it.
Oh yeah, we had to go to a couple of schools here to get them to correct some of that history that they talked about. Because they actually had Cleopatra White. They had everything else, and then they skipped past everything else about Africa, and they said, okay, enough of that. Now let's go straight to slavery. And he said, whoa. So all that is important for Martin Luther King's legacy. The last point I want to make to you, I went to a prison to speak on Martin Luther King's Day about 3 years ago, and the brother that brought me in said they shut it down after I left, because I told them that they are nothing but the capital that fuels all of the big businessmen downtown.
It's modern-day slavery.
That's right.
It's modern-day slavery.
And as I broke it down to them like that, the white preacher that brought me in is just like those preachers that Martin Luther King was writing to in Birmingham when he says, you guys say you're on our side, but every time we decide to move, then you want to tell us to slow down. We're moving too fast. What's too fast when we're the ones that's behind and y'all are having a good time?
That's exactly right, brother.
I appreciate your information. Keep it up.
Thank you, brother. God bless you. Love you guys in St. Louis. A lot of Ballentines and Williams, my family in St. Louis. But he's absolutely right. A lot of stuff has been watered down to the point where, like I said, we want to romanticize Dr. King. Let's tell the truth. Let's keep the history accurate. How when he came to Chicago, black ministers were paid off by then the elder daily to go against King, and they did it. And it didn't just happen in Chicago. It happened in Louisiana. It happened all around the place. in New York. I mean, see, we gotta keep this real. We have black folks against Dr. King because they don't come up here, don't make these white folks mad at us. Coming up here agitating some stuff. We like it just the way as it is. Then after Dr. King died, oh, I marched with King. Oh yeah, I support it. Yeah, you might have marched with him, but you was trying to stab him in the back at the same time. Let's go to Bobby in Charlotte, WGIV, line 2. What's up, Bobby?
Good morning, Warren. How are you?
Good.
Good. Happy MLK Day to you, if that's the right saying.
Hey, look. This I tell people all the time. This 4th of July for me. This is my Independence Day.
I heard that. Warren, what I want to say to you is that I hope you will continue to play more of his speeches, not just at this time of the year. Yeah. I would hope there would be some more speeches. The more that we hear, I think it's a tuning fork. Not only his speeches, but Malcolm X speeches.
Yep, you're right.
And it's time that we start putting some funds together to buy us a radio station nationwide.
Let me tell you what's so crazy about what you just said, right? I signed up to get notices when radio stations go for sale across the country. You can buy some of these stations for as little as $150,000.
Wow.
For as little as $150,000, you can acquire 3, 4, 5 stations. You get $1 million loan, you might be able to get you about 6 stations realistically, starting out.
We need to do a voice. If Oprah can do her own television show, we should be able to get our own radio station.
Hey, brother, I like that. I like that.
Nationwide.
I like that. I thank you for the call. And I tell you this, the stations that's playing this show, we got to support those stations. Look, WGIV, especially, some of these stations are historic. WGIV is a historic station. We need to be supporting those stations that's playing the show. Because honestly, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this outlet. Whether you're talking about GIV, whether you're talking about the station out of Milwaukee, 1290, whether you're talking about AOK in Atlanta, whether you're talking about XM Radio. We need to be supporting. Let me play a little bit of Dr. King for you. I will play his last speech before I get out of here today, but let me just play a little something for you, for all of you who don't understand the importance of just being who you are. Listen to this. You don't understand the importance of just being who you are. Listen.
If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. This morning, the thing that I like about it, by giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace. Soul generated by love. You can be that servant.
Please remember those words. The greatest among you is those who serve. 877-373-9766. Everybody, we're losing. Follow us on Ustream.tv, xmradio.com, or just Google Warren Ballentine. You'll be able to find one of the stations that's streaming the show. Talking to you, Truth Fighters, right here, right now. Warren Ballentine Show.
Stay tuned for the Warren Ballentine Show. Call 1-877-373-9766. 1-877-373-9766. Call the #1 Truth Fighter and stay with News Talk 1090 AM WILD Boston. 1090 AM. 1090 AM. WILD. Radio 1 celebrating 30 years of service to the African American communities.
Also here in the city of Boston.
News Talk 1090 WILD. The Tom Joyner Morning Show.
Weekday mornings.
The Warren Ballentine Show.
Weekday mornings at 10.
And keeping it real. Keeping it real. It's the Urban Al Sharpton.
Weekday afternoons at 1.
It all happens on News Talk 1090 AM WILD. where information is power.